So Skyrim Special Edition got a new update. If you're on consoles, this update is reportedly 1.35 gigabytes, while for PC users, it's going to be under 100 megabytes. The bulk of the new content in this is going to be Creation Club releases, and if you're curious as to why there's such a size discrepancy between consoles and PC, on consoles with these new Creation Club updates, you actually have to download all of the new releases onto your hard drive, whether or not you actually purchase them. On PC, you just have to download some of the required files, but then after that you only download the things you end up purchasing. But for PC users, after downloading this update, you may have noticed that several of your mods, including Skyrim Special Edition's script extender, were actually broken. Most of these, including the script extender, have actually been updated since then though, so if you haven't, you could actually update the game and download all of these new mods, or you can also not. But again, the bulk of the new stuff here was actually Creation Club releases. We saw 3 new things added and available for purchase: Wild Horses, which was actually teased last month, and a lot of people were anticipating this one; the Staff of Hasedoki, which was kind of leaked in the last batch of releases, and I did go over a little bit. We actually saw a teaser for some of these earlier in the week while I was actually at the Bethesda Fallout 76 event, and then finally a Bone Wolf. So to save you guys some time and money, I actually went out and purchased all 3 of these. So I'll give you guys a little bit of a preview or maybe a mini review so you could decide if, hey, maybe I should buy a new pack of credits or just use some of my existing ones. So first and foremost, let's take a look at Wild Horses. This is without a doubt the most anticipated out of the 3 since it's been teased for a while and it just kind of seemed like a cool concept. In effect though, what this mod is going to do is add in a bunch of new wild horses that you can find and tame in Skyrim. To start off, you're going to actually have to go to any of the various stables and buy a map and subsequently really a book of where these horses are. From there, you could read in your book and find out which horse is in which location. The only real differences between these horses are the colors, so basically, let's say the red horse is west of this major city, and then you walk west and eventually you'll hopefully stumble upon it. After actually finding a horse, which I don't want to downplay, if you don't have the Detect Life spell, it can certainly be difficult to find these guys, especially in heavily wooded areas. But more or less, after you actually find one, it's going to run away from you, so you may have to sprint after it and then quickly board it, which from there you're going to enter into the taming aspect of this mod. Basically, the horse is going to buck. This is going to involve it just kind of jumping every once in a while or kind of lifting up its front legs, but every once in a while it will actually successfully buck you off, and you're going to enter into kind of a ragdoll mode. Throughout my entire time using this mod, this only happened twice to me, so I don't know if it was because I was using a high level character or something like that, but otherwise taming the horses are pretty simple. You just kind of run around in a circle for a short while and then the horse is yours. After you do successfully tame a horse, what you have to do is take it back to a stable. You can more or less claim it and assign a name to it. These names are just kind of randomly generated, as it would seem. You could rename it multiple times, but never, or at least I couldn't figure out a way to input my own name. Then the other major aspect of this mod are the saddles. So after you do tame one of these horses, you will have the option to buy a variety of different saddles. These seem to actually be locked behind certain quests in the game. So for example, there's a Dark Brotherhood saddle. You're not just going to get that at level 1, you're going to have to do something with the Dark Brotherhood to actually unlock that saddle. I don't know what, I was using a fairly high level character that completed most of that storyline, so who knows, maybe it's the first quest or maybe you have to complete the storyline as a whole. I honestly wasn't a huge fan of these saddles. Like obviously it was nice to have a saddle on the horse, I just didn't think they looked particularly good. And outside of that, once you actually had one horse, you could go out and get another horse and kind of use your little map, but the only differences between these were the color. It seemed like to me they all kind of walked at the same speed, they did equal damage to enemies, and it was just kind of which color you did prefer. Even beyond that, one aspect of this I wasn't a fan of is actually after you ditch one of your horses, it's going to return to the spot where you originally found it. Some people are reporting that they could have a few horses stay at a stable, but I never had that. If I went out and tamed a new wild horse, the old one I was riding would just go back to that location in the middle of nowhere and I'd have to find it all over again. But then the final aspect of this mod is actually the unicorn, obviously the most notable of these horses. For this quest, more or less you had to go through and read a bunch of various books and eventually it would lead you to the unicorn. I was super disappointed with this one. It was easier to find the unicorn than any of the other horses because it literally had a quest marker on it. And even beyond that, despite the fact that it looked different, there was no additional challenge with actually taming this one or getting its location. It just involved fast traveling and reading a few times and maybe a little bit of combat. And when you actually have the horse itself, it just kind of is another horse. It has a horn and it's white, but I was hoping maybe it would do significantly more damage in combat because, hey, it has a massive horn sticking out of its head. So wild horses is definitely cool, but there's several horse mods out there, and if you passed on this one, I wouldn't be shocked. Then we do have the bone wolf. This is actually a little bit more difficult to get than a unicorn because there's going to be several enemies you do have to take down and even some opposing bone wolves, which is kind of ironic. But after that, you're basically just going to walk up, find the bone wolf. You will say, hey, do you want to follow me around? He'll say yes, and that's it. Now you have a bone wolf. You could ask him to carry certain things, but even though you fought bone wolves, this guy won't fight anyone else. He'll just kind of stand there or lay down. It is only 200 credits, so I wouldn't get too upset, but it's basically going to be, do you think this guy looks cool? If yes, then maybe buy him. Outside of that, he has like a decent carry weight, but otherwise he's not going to really have any value. And I would even argue the mud crab's a little bit cooler than this thing. And then finally, the Staff of Hasedoki. This is one that originally appeared in Morrowind, and it was ported over to Skyrim with Creation Club. So the quest for getting this one can be fairly difficult due to the unique effect it actually has. That's going to basically throw your character, enter you into that ragdoll mode, similar to Buckin. But in addition, the mage you get it off of is also using frost spells, so you get slown and then thrown, and it just makes it a nightmare if you're a melee build, or just in general. I'm not proud of how long it took me to actually get this thing, but that's in part because I got stuck in a ceiling somehow, and even clipping out didn't fix that. Once you have it in hand, it actually looks particularly cool, and even in first person, which I definitely notice is something not always done totally right. But outside of that, the actual effects are, if you take someone down within 60 seconds of entering into combat with them, they will fill a soul gem. Actually, blasting somebody with this thing will knock them back, which is kind of the main and most notable effect. But also, as you're not attacking, you're going to get this weird kind of shield thing, and what that's going to do is protect against incoming spells for up to 40 points. It also has the effect of making this stand out significantly. When you're not firing this thing, it's going to look significantly different than pretty much everything else in Skyrim. Now, I know some people might be like, oh, that looks really cool. It gets old really fast because it makes it just hard to see in general. I would definitely say this is more of a utility tool. It doesn't do a ton of damage. You'll probably use this, then switch off to something else. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool. Obviously, it does something a bit different than what it did in Morrowind. This is a theme we've seen with all of Creation Club, where it has like a similarity between the two, but it's different. At 250 credits, it's not the most expensive thing in the world, but if you don't have some of the other options, like some of the unique arrow packs, I would say give this one a pass for some of those. But wait, that's actually not it. It is for the new releases, but when we get these Creation Club releases on PC, we get an update to our Skyrim.ccc file. What this is basically all the file names for the various things in Creation Club right now, and for whatever reason, they'll tease us some of the up-and-coming things, or at least their file names. On the way is still the puzzle dungeon that we seemingly got a little bit of a tease of last time. There's Mountain Uni in there, which I'm not sure has corresponded to anything yet, but again, these are all older ones that have been in this for a while. The new one we actually got is Wraithguard. This is actually going to be something also from Morrowind. In that game, it was a Dwemer artifact and regarded as one of the most powerful pieces of armor in the game. And outside of just the kind of cool appearance of this one, what it actually featured were a variety of different protective effects, such as actually just reflecting 20%, actually having a shield worth 10 points, but then resist shock, poison, magic of frost, fire, and blight disease for various percentages. It seems like it could be a particularly cool one. Obviously, Bethesda has added in a lot of different things from older Elder Scrolls games, but again, with those, as we kind of saw in this video, it's not always an exact match. It's not like the effects or the way this is implemented will be identical to how it appeared in that past game. But otherwise, that pretty much wraps it up for this video. Hope you guys found it informative. But just to update you all, yes, I was at that Bethesda Fallout 76 event. I've talked about it a few times now. All of the content from that event is going up tomorrow. I should have 3 videos or so going up. So if you are excited for Fallout 76 and actually want to check some of those out, you can subscribe. For the main gameplay dump, which I'm going to be posting one raw one and then one more edited one, I'm actually going to probably set up one of those premiere rooms so you can see it as it goes live and share your reaction with other people. As always, again though, I thank you all for watching. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.